All right, all right, all right, all right. Thank you so much for checking out the show. I really, really appreciate it. Hello to everyone out there who is watching right now and who will be watching in the future. I really appreciate it. Come on now, the mute button on. All right. All right. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I gotta apologize. I try to be on time. I I was upstairs and next thing I know, I look at the clock. I'm like, oh man, you know. So but I think we have a good show. Well, I know we have a good show for us today. So we'll go over a couple of videos, and I really want to get to both of those videos. So as we did last week, if anybody wants to come up and kind of discuss everything, make sure that you do. We got a few people watching right now, so make sure that you say hello so I can acknowledge you. And then please make sure that you hit that like button so others can join in as well. It helps with the algorithms and all that. So welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone who's viewing already. I really, really appreciate it. I hope I don't have a big lag here. So good evening. Hello, Miss Larry. Thank you so much for joining in. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. To everyone else out there, please make sure that you do say hello. Hello to Lady L. Some new people is here. I haven't seen a lot of people before, so thank you so much, Miss Glorious Love. I think I've definitely seen you before. So let's see. Good sent me an email today. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Good evening. Good evening. Deborah, hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining in. Let's see, Darla. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let me get some. I got a couple of videos here, so we're gonna do that. Let's see. All right, all right. So I initially wanted to call this this episode. I initially wanted to call it what men prefer, but then I saw a couple of videos over the week, and I said, let's talk about these videos. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's see. We're not bread. Okay, so that's one video I'm going to show. Hello, a couple more people here. Make sure you all say hello. Hit that like button, please. I would appreciate it on your way in, or if you're on your way out, make sure you've already hit the like button before you leave. Miss Nakia, thank you so much. NYC Chocolate, thank you so much. Yes, hello family. I appreciate that. Yeah, say hello to the good peoples out there, everyone out there. So anyone else? So I think I'm streaming on Instagram as well. Hopefully we get some IG persons in here as well. I think I'm gonna probably set up a Facebook account specifically for this. I think a couple of people have sent me some friend requests on my personal page if you find out who I am. But I think I'm going to set up a Facebook. That way we can have discussions and share videos and things like that on the more regular. So that will be coming soon. I have a lot of ladies have joined. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Good evening. I think I have a pretty big lag. Do I have a big lag? Let me see here. Because I'm watching. No, my screen. I'm a little behind. Okay. All right. Mamacita, thank you so much. Good evening, Big L, ladies and gents. Yeah, we got to get some gents in here. What's up with that, right? Everybody's saying hello to everyone. Karen W, thank you so much. Yep. All this is good. All this is good. All right, so I'm not going to belabor the time because I really want to try to get through both of these videos, and one of them is going to be an extensive video. So I don't know where I'm going to cut it off at. I think that the host did a really, really good job. First one is I want to get you guys' thoughts and opinions about this. I'm not going to invite you guys up just yet, but just give me your thoughts and your opinions. First of all, hit the 1 if you can hear this. We'll try this again.
Woman who is broke and never been to college but is fine as hell, can cook, has good nurturing skills, good in bed, will always get the better man than the woman who makes hella bread, is hella accomplished, but she is totally out of touch with her womanly side and role. It's women right now making tons of money, A+ credit, business rolling, while you're gone at work all day. Your man is cheating with a woman who's unemployed and makes him feel like a man. When a woman says, oh, they don't want me independent because I don't gotta take his ish. basically what she's saying is that if I have my own everything, I can talk to you any kind of way. It means I can have other men. I got my own money, got my own car. That right there should disqualify a woman from being the wifey, the face card. We as women should all be functioning as adults. Money, credit, transportation, housing. That's called being a grown adult.
Gotcha, bitch.
Thoughts. So you heard what she had to say. Sometimes ladies are in their boss chick energy, and they are behaving a certain way, think that they could talk to their man any old type of way. And I, I didn't appreciate that she said that your man is it made it seem like this. If you're doing all these different types of things, that your man is definitely cheating on you with someone who's lesser quality. Can't say I agree with that. But it is definitely a thing. So let me know your thoughts, right? Hello, John. Thank you. Wait, no, that was Inside Sea Chocolate. John Marlin is here. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the ones. Appreciate it. NYC says she fully agrees, right? I'm going to tell you right now, boss chick energy is not it. Boss chick energy is not it. So I just thought I'd play that one. That was a real quick one. Yeah. Her sentiments are correct. Listen, the man wants fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, sweet, nice, kind. If you watch the video from this morning, what did I title that? I can't remember. Listen, I got I literally have 11 videos that are ready to drop, and they're going to drop every week. But the one that was this morning about why so angry? Who was angry? What was the video about this morning? I can't remember the title of it. Man, I'm having a senior moment. Anyway, where we talked about just different things, right? So we definitely gotta make sure that we're in our fullest extent, and that we're meeting the needs of each other. That's what it was about, needs. Men and women need each other, so we would definitely have to make sure that we are acting along that way, and that we definitely need each other. Why was she so angry? Well, listen, I think that this is a lot of times the energy that is given off. She did seem a little bit animated, she did seem a little bit, men and women. Yes, thank you. Men and women need each other. Thank you, Darla. She did seem a little angry, animated, and all that. So, exactly what she was trying to talk about, as far as being sweet, submissive, and doing whatever you're doing. Unfortunately, her presentation of it seemed a little bit off. So, yeah, she's trying to prove a point. She probably was. All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the next video here. I hope that we don't have any technical difficulties here. I promise you, I tried to do all this stuff before. So let's see here. We're going to present, share screen. All right, this is about sexless marriages, and as I titled this is about men and women trying to get together, and these experts, so-called, weighing in on this. Now, I appreciate this brother. He's from Ask an Older Man. If you've seen him before, Ask an Older Man, and so he's going to weigh in on. They're going to have, he and this lady here who are going to have a conversation, and she's going to talk about sexless marriages. And I appreciate, his name is Paul. He is going to talk about, he's going to ask some really, really good questions. And let's just listen to the answer. Hello, Tina. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it.
Yep.
I mean, I've been a holistic therapist, anti-aging specialist. I've traveled the world. I have A-list celebrity clients, high net worth individuals. I've treated kings and queens.
Give me a one if you can hear it. I don't want to go through all this. Can you give me a one if you can hear it? I have it paused now, but just give me a one if you can hear that. Very good. Here we go.
it's 10 years now that I've really studied the male-female dynamic because I wanted to understand why it's so difficult to meet men these days. And it took me down that road of really understanding the male-female dynamic. And, all my clients that come to me, they've always got relationship problems, especially the woman would talk to me. And so as an organic side effect of that, I started working with couples, with relationship in their marriage, with sex problems in their marriage. And, it's absolutely much more common than you would think.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the calls are coming in from my side. I've been doing this for 2 years now. And one of the biggest complaints I get from men is that women are using sex almost as if it's a weapon. So it's either used as a negotiation tool or it's used for a tool for submission. If you don't do X for me, you ain't getting any punani.
Which is never going to work, really.
Well, it doesn't work, but the problem is a lot of men feel trapped in this situation because one thing we all know in the red pill.
So he's going to go on with this. So this is a very, very important point. He just said a lot of men feel trapped. You want to know why men don't want to get married? I like Brother Paul. This is from Ask an Older Man. This is his channel. Love this dude. He says this is the trapping that goes on, right? So you want men to get married. You want men to sign up for this contract. And then women are going to hold sex as a weapon. So he's going to elaborate upon this. And those of you who critique my red pill space closeness, I want you guys to listen up. You want men to get married. You want them to step up, right? So you can't do this kind of thing. And I appreciate Paul for pushing back on her because he's going to let her know this ain't it. So just listen to this conversation. Glorious Love says, I brought up a discussion earlier today about the fact that Black women out-earned Black men historically. This is nothing new. The women years ago knew how to acquiesce to their man. Yeah, listen, we have constantly been in a situation wherein we have been emasculated in this society. I've talked about this. Education. There was a lady. I was listening to another podcast, and there was a lady who had gone to Harvard. I think she went to Harvard back in the 1960s, right? I mean, this was unheard of for a Black woman, right? 1960s or 70s, and she didn't believe this. That she thought that Black men had always been educated, right? She had this idea that Black men had always had this privilege about them, and so she went back and did the research as a Harvard educated or a person who was educated at Harvard, and discovered, Black women have always had some type of leg up. When Black men couldn't get jobs, the women could always get domestic work, and those who were educated were oftentimes the women, far more, and it's still like that today. It's still far more like that today. So, yeah, I'm going to try to get to that. Let me speed this up. I'm going to try to speed this up. I definitely want to get to that interview. You all hang with me. We'll get to it. So I want to play a little bit of this, but I will speed it up just so we can hear it all. Yes. So let me stop talking so much. Let me get the settings here. I'm going to put this on playback speed. We'll go to 1.25 and we'll play it here.
In the red pill space is that divorce for a man is pretty much could be a death sentence for most average men, right? Most average men, once he's gotten through a divorce, that's it. Kids are no longer his. He's splitting everything 50-50, and everything he's worked for literally can be taken from him. So in divorces, there is a lot more for a man to lose. So
if that's too fast, let me know.
Off to hold on to their marriages. And a lot of women know that, especially Western women. And if you want to know the answer to why men aren't getting involved with relationships anymore, that is the number one reason.
Do you know it's a statistical fact that it's women that leave marriages more than men?
Yes, 80 to 90% of women who leave marriages more than men. I can tell you why that is from a red pill perspective. But can you tell me what you think from your point of view?
Okay. So let's go back to basics, shall we?
Let me know if it's too fast.
The male-female dynamic. We were born different genetics for a reason. Men are here to provide and protect. Women are here to nurture and love and support. In this day and age,
they're here for what? That's what she said. She said to nurture. This is too fast. Okay, I'll slow it down. Sorry about that. I just want to get through it. We'll go back to 1.25. So she said that they're here to protect. I'm sorry. The man is there to protect, and the woman is there to nurture, right? So forget this boss chick energy. You want guys to get married. You want them to do whatever. You gotta You definitely have to understand what we're trying to do. So here we go. I slowed it down a little bit. Thank you for telling me.
Age, women have become far too masculine, and they take that into their relationship. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, the masculine energy is what drives you forward. It's what gets you up. Men are here to provide and protect. Women are here to nurture and love and support. In this day and age, women have become far too masculine, and they take that into their relationship. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, the masculine energy is what drives you forward. It's what gets you up in the morning, gets you going, gives you the drive for life. The feminine energy is the all receiving energy, the energy that holds space for the masculine. So women in this day and age, because they've become far too masculine, they take that into their relationship, and that's where you get the fight. That's where you get the imbalance, because ultimately men should be leading and the woman should be supporting.
Right. You could be classified as a red pillar because you understand the dynamics. The dynamics is that's the reality. Unfortunately, what we've seen is feminism have told women that they can be like men. They can do what men can do.
Feminism was the worst thing that ever happened to women, in my opinion.
I'm loving this woman already.
I'm not saying
loving her.
He's not going to be in love with her for long. Let me tell you that. I watched this. He's not going to be in love with her for long. So thank you to Miss Anita. Triple A is in the house. Thank you so much. Even if she has a job or businesses that needs to stay out of the home in relationship with her man, there's a lot to unpack. But we both have to work full-time jobs and all that. Let's see. Exactly. Men are the head of the household, and a woman should choose a competent man. That is very important. Absolutely. Absolutely. Be Happy TV. Nope, men are not here to provide and protect women. That is a lie, and precisely why men are not doing it. Yeah. Okay, Miss B. All right. All right.
I'm really not saying women shouldn't go out and make their own money and be successful. I'm your biggest advocate for that. I have been that woman. I am that woman. But you have to know when to draw that in and bring in the feminine energy. So I always say, when you go home, you hang your balls on the front door and you go in and you remember how to be a woman again.
I like that. That's what I've been telling my wife. My wife has a pretty high-powered job,
Yes.
right? And I had to go through this sort of, hey, when she got home, she still had that,
I mean, it's not easy to turn it off.
Of course it
it's
isn't.
Really not.
Of course it isn't. And I get it. But the thing is, why should I suffer? Because that's what she wants. You understand?
Yeah.
So she's, over the years, we've been through our ups and downs. So she's had to have to realize that, hey,
I'm going to have an open panel after we get through this. So I'd like to hear why you think that to Clever Girl Reading and Be Happy TV. Tell me why you think that men are not here to protect and to provide. Tell me, that'll be later. So if you're still here, I'll certainly invite you up and you guys can expand upon that if you so choose.
That, hey, I'm not that guy that is going to bow down and say, yes, honey, okay, I understand. No, I don't put up with that shit.
No, because then what happens is the man becomes emasculated.
I always say the bitch.
Right?
That's not going to happen.
Now, what happens there in that dynamic is there starts to be resentment on each side.
Yes.
Because although the woman is more often than not doing it on a subconscious level because she's so used to being in charge in the workplace, that ends up breeding resentment and contempt, because ultimately the woman wants the man to be the leader, even if she doesn't really recognize that consciously, and the man wants the woman to be the support. More than anything, a man wants to come home to peace. That's it.
See,
men are very simple.
You're switched on.
Yeah, I am. I mean, honestly, I've always been a realist when it comes to relationships. And it's like, if a man is not getting sex, he's either A, going to look elsewhere for it, B, turn to porn, or C, be very, very unhappy in the relationship.
Did you guys get that? Might be a test later. A, B, and C. We rewind that a little bit. Here's what's going to happen, right? So I definitely want you guys to take notes. You ladies out there who don't think, the couple of you who don't think that men are supposed to be protecting and providing.
I've always been a realist when it comes to relationships. And it's like, if a man is not getting sex, he's either A, going to look elsewhere for it, B, turn to porn, or C, be very, very unhappy in the relationship.
Yes. You're
You know, Luke, understand, I've studied Tantra, I've studied all kinds of sex therapy. Sex is so important in a relationship. So many times I've heard women say, oh, sex isn't, you know, that important. It's not everything. I'm telling you, it fucking is everything.
Yeah.
Because what happens, sorry.
no,
Paul,
go on. You're cooking with.
you
I'm
know,
leaving you alone.
when you have, you know, think back to a time where you've had amazing, mind-blowing sex. How do you feel after that?
Oh,
You feel like you can conquer the world,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Now, in turn, if we're talking energetically,
Mm.
you can then go out and you start automatically attracting abundance into your life.
Yes.
Sex is like food. We have to have it. We are human.
I hope the ladies are listening to this. I swear, I think I got about 26,000 women that are following me here.
I hope they are too,
But the
Paul.
point is that the women still cannot understand this concept. It's very difficult for them to understand that if a man does not blow his load, I was trying to look for the politically correct term. If he does not have an orgasm, if he does not get rid of the 700 million sperms that are produced in his sac every day, he goes to work frustrated. He goes through his entire day just and women don't get that because you guys don't do that. You don't feel that. You produce one egg a month.
Yeah. Now, here's the other thing. Men are on Earth to procreate.
Right.
So instinctually, they have to have sex because that's what they were built for. It doesn't have to be an
What? What are we built for? What? No. You can go a couple weeks, couple months without it. No, it's okay.
emotional connection. Women need the emotional connection. Now, here's another interesting thing. Women need love in order to have sex. Men need sex in order to feel love.
Right.
So
So
I thought that was deep. Let me rewind it here. Can I rewind it? Here we go.
In order to have sex, men need sex in order to action. Women need the emotional connection. Now, here's another interesting thing. Women need love in order to have sex. Men need sex in order to feel love.
right. So it comes back to that basic question. Because I have two theories on why a lot of women shut down in marriages, right? One I briefly told you the other day. The mere fact that too many women have fallen into this trap of, I want to go through my whole phase early in my 20s. And a lot of women have had a hell of a lot of D during their whole phase. Meaning most modern women, I think we did the stats, most women before they reach the age of 25 have had an average of 15 men. 15. Now, if you think about that, those are 15 men that now has to compete with that one man that she decides to settle down with. Or I should say that man, that one guy that she decided to give it to and give him, or he gives her the ring, he now has to compete with the 15 guys that she's been with. That is the basic theory. It's difficult for one man to compete with that because what she's doing is she's picking the best action from every single one of those men. This one had a big D. Oh, he had a nice hairy chest. This one, he knew this move that just drove me insane. This one, he used to hold me and tie my hands behind my back. And she's going to go through a whole slew of those men and she's going to pick the best from every single one of those men because she expects that in that one last guy. And it's impossible to do. So she does what you call Frankenstein, 15 guys to find that one. And it's impossible for that one guy to meet it. So that is one theory, right?
But then on the other side of it, if she's chosen that one guy, then she's obviously clear about what she wants.
No,
and that's a great thing for him.
Listen, Paul's about to eviscerate her. I want to play this because this just shows the dichotomy of how ladies are thinking. A lady thinks I can have all these different guys, but I chose you. Well, I chose you. You're special. I want you for the rest of my life. Paul is about to eviscerate. No, that's not the way. That's not the way a guy looks at it. And now we know scientifically that you bonded with all these men, and you can't now bond with other men. We know this. We know this scientifically now. So here we go. I'll rewind it just a little bit here.
Guy, then she's obviously clear about what she wants.
No,
and that's a great thing for him.
No, it isn't. Because the other part of the equation is women choose men for two basic reasons, protection and provision. But procreation is a totally different kettle of fish. Not a kettle of fish, ball of wax, what do you call it, right? The point is that back in the day, when men were paid for their prowess, their power, their strength, their agility, their ability to hunt, he made more money or more resources. So back then, you got the biggest, most powerful guys were also the best providers. Today, your average dude, your big, what we call Chad, your square jaw, blue eyed, the 6'6", he's usually dumb as shit, right? And I say that lightly, Chad. Calm down, calm down. Point I'm trying to get across is usually when.
Let me answer this question. I think that Paul is answering this question just now. How does that explain women having casual sex? Because the market has been deregulated. What's happened now, and this is exactly what Paul is saying, what's happened now is that because of feminism, because of the birth control pills, because of baby deletions, right? You can go out there and just have sex with anyone, and you think that you can operate like men. And you want to operate like men. Men are out there having fun. Men are out there just doing whatever. And so you want to have sex, exactly what he said, with the big tall chads and all this kind of stuff. And there's no consequences for it anymore. You can get a penicillin or whatever to get rid of any STDs. You can go to the clinic to get rid of any babies that maybe there's no penalty for it before. And so therefore, to quote Miss Auntie Anita, you're deregulated, right? You don't have to watch it, right? You don't have to gatekeep anymore. You can just go out there and just do it. So you're trying to. So this is that masculine energy that is being kind of alluded to, that you're trying to operate in a certain path, and you don't have to do it. So you go out there and you want to mess around with the physical specimens because you can, because there's no penalty for it anymore. And then when you recognize that Chad type dude, I call them Pookies and Ray Rays, right? These Chads and Pookies and Ray Rays, they don't want to be husbands. So now you want to go to the guy who's husband material. And so now you want the husband material. I'm saying you, I don't mean everyone out there. But you want to go to the husband material, and the husband material is like, oh no, I'm not raising anybody else's babies. I'm not dealing with all your trauma from past experiences, all the 50 guys that came before you. Now you're going to compare them to me as far as, this Frankenstein he just talked about. So we're not going to deal with that. So this is the dilemma that we're at. I'll rewind it just a little bit so you can kind of elaborate, so you can catch it when he's saying this. I wanted to answer that about having casual sex, because there's no penalty for it anymore.
The 6'6", he's usually dumb as shit, right? And I say that lightly, Chad. Calm down, calm down. Point I'm trying to get across is usually when men and women have extreme looks, they really don't have to rely on anything else to get what they want. Usually. Good point, yeah. Usually those are the people who get everything given to them. They don't have to work for it. Yeah. Right? So they don't have to put in any effort in school. They don't have to put any effort into the exams, etc., because most of these guys were the star football players, the star basketball player, because they had it physically. She will prefer to sleep with those guys. But in the day of technology, and where we now use a lot of our mental capacity to make money, because it's the Wall Street guy, it is the freaking guy who's broken the some scientific endeavor. I mean, look at all the wealthy men. Bill Gates. There's nothing sexy about that sucker.
Oh, and I've met him in real life. Okay. Trust me, there is not.
Exactly. Look at Steve Jobs. No. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. No. Elon Musk. I swear he got Asperger's. None of these guys have that strong sexual prowess, but they're the top of the food chain when it comes to men who have acquired the ultimate freaking prize of wealth. So the woman, she would want to have that man's protection and provision, but the seed, she needs that from Chad. And we know this because every single one of you women, you will go out and you will sleep with the bad boys. Usually those are the good looking guys. But the guy that you want to take serious, he got to wait. Yeah, he ain't getting it. He got to wait. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I mean, you do have a point. I mean, look, in this day and age, women.
This is a professional. So Paul, I don't know what his background is. I think he was in tech, but I'm not sure. So he just schooled this woman who's supposed to be a professional. How do you not know this? Right? And she's like, oh, you got a point. Red pill for the win.
Women are very different. Beauty is now a commodity. No, but beauty is now a commodity, and it's not for free. I mean, I hear.
I think it's higher than. I think. How can we ever know that? But here's what we know. Clever girl. And your question is, y'all keep focusing on the women who date Pookies and Ray Rays. I'd love to know the percentage of women who actually date them. I think it's higher than what you think. And here's why I'm saying that. It's because we know, number one, that in certain places, men, the average is men are raising 1/3 of men, 33% of men, 1/3 of men are raising children who they think are biologically theirs and they're not theirs. There's been different studies, and it's been high as 50%, I believe, in Jamaica. So depending where you live, the average is that 1/3 of them are doing exactly what he's talking about. Now, I can tell you, this is obviously not a scientific study that I'm going to give you, but I can tell you the amount of homes of people that I went to or caught people 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, people who had degrees, people who had status, people who were members of city councils and all that, who had this little Pookie and Ray Ray that they were dealing with. I can tell you that, right? The so-called 12 to 5 guy. I can tell you that, right? So it's not as small as you think. We're not saying everyone or 100% of women do that. Don't ever, nothing is 100%. Not 100% of men are doing whatever, not 100% of women. But there is a sizable portion of ladies of all races who would rather be with this so-called Pookie, Ray Ray, Chad, what did Kevin Samuels used to call him? I forget what I think he called him Jose or Pablo or something. I don't know what it was. But everybody in their whatever culture it is, they have this type of guy that they want. But when they want to settle down, they get exactly what Paul said. They get this type of Bill Gates type of guy, right? And you want this guy to raise your kids, to raise somebody else's kids. And so that's what's going on here. Make sure you hit that like button. Put some respect on my like button, please. So I just want to answer that question. Here we go.
I hear so many stories about, you know, girls going out and they're saying, oh, well, if you want to be with me, it's 2,000 dirhams or whatever.
But that's wholeflation. That's something different.
Okay, so we need to get back to basics. And it's like, I do believe in this day and age, there's too many emasculated men. There's too many feminine men. You know, they all want to go 50-50 and all this rubbish. And it's like, it's not about the money. It's about being treated like a woman, being felt that she's being taken care of and looked after. And in another way, the woman should give back to the man. I'm not saying we should just sit there like a queen and get everything given to us. No, there has to be an equal exchange. In a marriage, you know, I often ask the question, does your partner know your deepest, darkest?
Yeah, that's true, Miss To Beloved. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I don't think that the emotional damage is done quite to the same degree, but sometimes they do that, right? And so that's unfair, and sometimes that may make them to some extent unqualified for marriage as well. I'm not denying that, right? I've seen a lot of guys be like, you know, we used to talk about that when I was having the church, right? These guys be running around and stuff, doing whatever they're doing, and then they go to the church to go look for a good girl. It's true. I'm not going to deny that.
Darkest fantasies sexually? The answer is always no.
Right, but do you know why?
Because there's shame behind it. They don't know how their partner would react, and you know the list goes on. But if you really want to save your marriage and you sexually, the answer is always no. Partner, we should just sit there like a queen and get everything given to us. No, there has to be an equal exchange. In a marriage, you know, I often ask the question, does your partner know your deepest, darkest fantasies sexually? The answer is always no.
Right, but do you know why?
Why don't men share their deepest, darkest sexual fantasies? Why don't women know them? To answer who are the Bill Gates, you got to be. If you're not aware of all these successful black men, then that's on you. I mean, they're all in magazines. A lot of times, to some people who are saying that they marry a bunch, they level up and they marry white women. If you're not aware of that, then you're just being disingenuous. So that is what it is. But you certainly have your chance to come up a little bit later. We are comparing the black experience with non-black people's experience. Black women have always had to work outside the homes and be so-called masculine in their frame. A lot of that's true. Maya, thank you so much. Yep, absolutely. Church looking for the good girl. That's true. It's true. We did it all the time. Right on. Black women get a different experience. Yeah. But we get a different background experience, but what do you want going forward? Right? That's the question. What do we want going forward? So I want to finish this off because I want to get to Candy.
Because there's shame behind it. They don't know how their partner would react. And, you know, the list goes on. But if you really want to save your marriage and you really value that person in your life, you need to strip it back to the very bare basics.
Okay, but I want to insert, but I don't want to go too far because why?
I have a video coming out about this, Stacy Diller. So I have like 10 or 11 videos in the pipe, ready to be released, already scheduled to go. And I definitely have a video. Actually, Miss Anita, she's still in here. She did a video about it, and I got a video about this as well. So Anita from Better Love Movement.
Why is it that Chad knows her deepest, darkest secret, secrets?
But does he?
Yeah, he does.
You think?
Because Chad has bent her over the parking lot in the freaking.
Now he has to tell her about what Chad. I'm going to rewind it so we can hear it. She doesn't think that Chad knows. She thinks she's pushing this idea that women need love and they need attention and they need an emotional connection. And no, you don't need that when you want to get your back blown out. You don't need that. No, you don't. You know, you see some guy at the club or whatever, and there's no repercussions if I do it. So I don't have to save myself for this loving connection and flowery romance, right? So this is what she's trying to push to people. And Paul is rightly challenging on this. No, you don't need that. No, you don't need that.
Why is it that Chad knows her deepest, darkest secrets?
But does he?
Yeah, he does.
You think?
Because Chad has bent her over the parking lot in the freaking Chad has bent her over that freaking car hood in the parking lot. He has had her bent over on the sink in the bathroom and the toilets. I know this for sure. I come from the Caribbean, my dear. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okay, exactly.
I'll give you that.
All right. Yeah. So I know for sure.
Now she got to admit
so
that.
All I'm saying to you
okay.
is the deepest, darkest secrets are told to the lover, never to the husband or wife.
But that's where we're going wrong.
Of course, we're going wrong there.
So what I suggest that you do, it's all about connection and intimacy. Sex is by the by. It's about being, you've chosen this person for a reason, to marry them. So wouldn't you want the highest possible connection that you can have if you've chosen this person, rather to sit there in misery? Because you've got two choices. You can either stick in misery, or you can have some uncomfortable conversations and really go back to basics. Imagine that you're sitting in front of a window, you're on one side, they're on the other, and you have to scrub it clean. You have to really be brutally honest with them.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to like everything you hear. But if you really value and love that person the way you say you do, then it's a great exercise to do.
Yes, ladies.
And connection. Women need connection. They want to feel loved. They want to feel taken care of. If they feel that, then they'll give you the sex. Okay, I promise you.
Cool. But a woman's
you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to jump through these hoops. But you don't have to jump through these hoops for these Pookies and Ray Rays. Throw the hearts up. Yes, hit that like button, please. Make sure that you do that. I appreciate the commentary. Women have the same needs as men. The fact is that there's always been whole behavior. Black men co-parent more than any other group. They also become step parents more. I can't figure you out, clever girl reading. Okay, but you're right. Black men co-parent more than any other group. They also become step parents more. Yes, you're right about that. Absolutely. Okay, we'll keep playing this. I want to get through this.
Greatest value is to make the man feel that he got the best deal that he could get. Right? You think the man want to hear that she got a train ran on her in college, or she's been bent over in some toilet by Chad? Yeah,
but you've got to have the guts. I mean, I don't think they need to know every gritty detail of your past sex life. I don't think it's necessary. You've got to ask yourself,
what is brutal honesty then? I want to know
what you're not getting within the relationship. Because people go for years and they don't really talk to each other.
I get it. But here's what I find. This is what I found, right? A lot of women have a past and they live in a delusional, almost fantasy world. And when they meet that guy that's going to do provision, okay? That's the guy that is stable. That's not the guy that does all the freaky shit with her. That's the guy that she knows is going to be stable, that he's going to be a great father to her.
This is why I'm telling men, I've got a couple of videos and I got pushback on these videos. I'm telling men who are these stable guys to learn to be more swaggerlicious. Because if you don't want to deal with this type of thing, then you have to learn these tricks of the trade. The socially awkward males, the videos I have about that. And actually, I have a part 2 to that one that's in the pipe to come out. The socially awkward males. One is the educated lames who just step their game up. That's why I talked about that. Because if you want to be able to compete with these types of people, because they have these, you're absolutely, somebody wrote in here that men and women, women have the same desires. Somebody wrote on here that some women have the same desires as men. No, I can't find the comment. It's so true. It's so true. And if you're a guy out there, you got to learn to tap into that side of you, that swaggerlicious side. I'm not telling you to go out there, run around here driving fast, sporting guns and robbing banks and stuff. I'm not telling you to do that, but you got to find this balance of, I need to be dominant. I need to have this aura about me. I need to have this swag about me, get my game together, as well as be this provider that he's talking about, right? You got to figure out that balance. You got to figure out that balance.
Shit with her. That's the guy that she knows is going to be stable, that he's going to be a great father to her kids, or be cocked, start being cocked by another man. There's so many women who have had kids by another man, and the wrong man is taking care of those kids. In other words, he thinks that he's taking care of his kids when it's Chad's kids that he's taking care of. Paternity court is a huge business right now because so many women are doing that. I personally don't think that it has changed. That's how it's always been. It's just that now we have DNA testing where we can now see it in real time. But before, the postman, the mailman, the milkman, these are all guys that have impregnated thousands of women across villages all over the UK and all over the US back in the day. We know that to be true. So we're living in a time now where women are getting...
She looks very uncomfortable. He's challenging her. And somebody talked about patriarchy. And this is where I would agree with you about the patriarchy, right? Because before, when there was no such thing as patriarchy, when there was just tribes living in Africa and the babies belonged to the tribe, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. But now it matters. It matters because of the society we live in. Like it, love it, whatever. But now it matters. So I got to pay child support. I got to go to these kids' meetings. I gotta bring this kid to my home. It matters. So, I mean, this is what it is. So, look at her face there. She looks uncomfortable.
Getting caught with it. And the red pill is literally waking men up to realize that the fantasy of a woman isn't what we were told it should be. Which is women are amazing and they're angelic and they're beautiful and they're to be trusted. And, you know, she's going to be the best thing that you get.
That's what, look at her face. This is what men have been taught. This was taught to me. This was taught to everyone in my church. This is taught to a lot of men. And then you get out here and you figure out you figure out exactly what has been said in this chat, that some women have this other side to them too. They want sex and food just as much. So men got to figure this out. Men have to figure this out. Play it again.
Isn't what we were told it should be. Which is women are amazing and they're angelic and they're beautiful and they're to be trusted and, you know, she's going to be the best thing that you get. That isn't, that reality is being ripped away from us right now. That fantasy, I should say, that fantasy has been ripped away from us. The glass has been cleaned and those rose colors that we saw before aren't there anymore.
Yeah, but I believe that if you treat each other the right way, you get what you give out. You have to treat your partner like she's the queen and she has to treat you like you're a king.
I get it.
You have to be for each other. You have to make that commitment to each other. You can't go in half-assed. And I know that nowadays it's very easy come, easy go. You know, divorce is on the up. You know, a lot of people go into marriage thinking, oh, well, if it doesn't work out, I'll get a divorce. No, this is wrong. We have to go back to how our parents were and our grandparents. And I think that is being more spoken about these days.
So if you were to talk to, we've talked about the problems. I need to focus on the solutions. We need to try. That's what I try to do on this channel. I try to say, hey, these are the solutions. If the woman is holding the sex from the man, who do you think have to solve the problem?
Huh?
The man.
Okay, please enlighten us.
So if your wife is using sex as a weapon, you have to figure out what she wants. And it's usually a bit more attention, a bit more recognition, a bit more gratitude for what she's doing at home. If you've got kids, you know, if she's working as well, she's cooking the meals. So, you know, come home, bring her flowers, do something you don't normally do. You know, there's a great saying, if you do what you've always done, you get what you've always got. So you need to change it up. You need to surprise her in some way. You need to make her feel special. You need to make her feel that you appreciate her in some way. You know, if you come home and it's always like, hi, honey, I'm home, go over, give her a hug, give her a kiss. You know, men more than anybody. I was on a tantric course earlier in the year and it was more or less 50-50 men and women. There was about 40 of us. And we learned a lot of exercises to do with touch and just presence, look into each other's eyes, you know, honoring each other in that way. And men were just melting because men don't get that kind of adoration in general. So we need to just go back to its intimacy. Real intimacy in a relationship, and you'll see her turn around quicker than you can blink. I promise you that.
All right. Here's my logic. I hold a gun to you and say,
I don't think he expresses himself the best here, but what he's saying is, what he's about to say is that men don't want to be held hostage, right? I slide this ring on your finger. I sign this contract. Now I'm going to be held hostage. And I'm not exactly sure that he's going to give the best analogy, but that's exactly the point that he was trying to say. Let's see. Let me run through some of this. I can't type fast enough. Okay. No, you can treat him like a king if you have to. It won't matter. Let's see. Yes, she is uncomfortable. He invited her there to discuss sex therapy, not debate red pill logic rhetoric. He cornered her to discuss a topic that was not agreed upon. This lady will not come back. She probably won't. I think that she actually did something on her channel, and kind of was like, wasn't really happy about this. So I do think that she was not happy about what went on here. I don't know. I don't know what they agreed upon, but that's why you have to be fulfilled as a woman. You can expect somebody to fulfill you. You'll be so disappointed. Men are socialized to expect sex without giving love. I don't think that's true. Are we? If that's true, if this is a true statement, then I think that ladies have a certain level of responsibility. You got to stop. You got to be better gatekeepers. You got to be better gatekeepers, right? I mean, he's going to do it. He's going to do it if you let him. Okay, I want to get through this. A few more minutes of this. We'll let him explain this, and then we'll get to Cam Newton.
And say, you ain't getting this thing. I want X first. I'm holding the gun. Whose fault is it? The person holding the gun or the person who has to now submit? Because that's what you basically told me. You said, I ask you, whose fault is it? The woman is holding the gun. That's what she's doing. She's holding.
But in a relationship, it's both of your fault. It's not one or the other. You've both got to take responsibility. It's 50-50 in a relationship.
So I guess it's come down to which came first, the chicken or the egg.
Yeah, exactly.
Cause or effect.
Yeah.
Because you got to also look at it from the fact that if a woman actually withholds sex, the man withdraws.
But you've got to ask yourself, why is she withholding sex?
And that's my point, is that usually it's because the woman wants dominance. She wants something. So now we're back to that. Okay, if I get X, I will give you the sex. Men didn't sign. No, I had this discussion with our friend the other day. If every man thinks that I should ask this woman, get on my knees, tell her I'm willing to sacrifice 50% of my freaking assets, risk having the kids with you and having them ripped from me, because these are the rules of marriages and divorce, right? And more importantly, and more likely what will happen, I won't have sex regularly with variety of women anymore. But not only that, there is a possibility I won't even have sex with you. I could be in a sexless situation. Which man you think would sign up for that shit?
No man.
Thank you. So that means when that woman puts that last...
How many men? How many men should sign up for that? How many men? Where will wind at? How many men should sign up for that? He's trying to help. He's trying to get us to understand and how we can move together so we can understand that this needs to be a fair exchange. It needs to be a fair exchange. You want me to exchange half of my assets, et cetera, then I got to get what I want. You're going to get what you want. You want intimacy. I got to give you that. You want relationship, emotional support. I got to give you that. No problem. I got to get something out of it too.
I won't even have sex with you. I could be in a sexless situation. Which man you think would sign up for that shit?
No man.
Thank you. So that means when that woman puts that last nail in the coffin thinking, all right, this fucker, I know he wants sex, but because of that, he don't give me X.
I advocate. Stacy says, what world are you in? Today's women go to work, take care of kids, fixing dinners, kids, homework, clean up. Listen, if you're doing all that, I advocate for the man to step up. I advocated that. That's a 50-50 relationship, right? You're working just 8 hours a week. He should be part of taking care of the kids, fixing dinner, helping the kids with homework. I mean, that's the way it should be. So that's the world that I'm living in. So you know, these people who are, and nobody wants it every night. I mean, come on now, nobody's doing it every night, not with kids and all that. So
XYZ, I'm going to hold that away from him. I don't feel like I'm getting flowers. I don't feel loved. Okay, he's not getting any sex. Where my solution is, you give him some damn sex so that when he feels like, hey, you know what, my wife is doing her shit, she deserves whatever. That's how I feel with my marriage. When my wife is a lot more accommodating sexually, oh, she gets treated like a queen. She starts holding that shit. Yeah, no.
You don't want her just to be doing the act, just lying there like a lead balloon.
Of course,
you know?
no, I agree.
That wasn't in the equation.
I agree with that. You shouldn't just be doing it. Just there's nothing worse than that. Pity sex, just shut up sex, here, take it sex.
Neither.
No, so you want the connection. You want to have that connection of love, of appreciation, of wanting, and that has to be worked on. You know,
this is like I said, which comes first? If a woman starts to cut off the sex, because it doesn't happen, boom. It's usually a slow decline.
Yeah, because that's exactly it. Because
right?
it's little trinkets, little modules.
That's true. Be happy. That's true. You don't want it. I really believe like twice a week, right? And you know, maybe under 25, 3-4 times a week, maybe. I mean, once you get it and really satisfied and stuff, especially if you got things going on, you can't be doing that all day. Come on now.
Jewels of things that piss you off,
right.
And then they start building up like a snowball, and then boom,
yeah,
it's a huge thing.
Yeah, and it's difficult, man. I know it's a hard thing to negotiate because I get the same issues with my marriage. You know, sometimes she gets frustrated and she don't feel sexual.
You've also got to compliment a woman. You know, even though she knows that she's pretty or beautiful, you have to say it. It has to, men,
God.
Listen to me. You have to say it regularly because a woman needs to hear it. So many women say to me, he never appreciates me, he never tells.
This one doesn't, Maya. Most men don't have money. Come on, that's not true. Come on, men have money. Come on.
Me, I'm pretty. When I get dressed up, he never says anything. No, you have to comment all the time.
So, gentlemen, you gotta get on that knee, beg her.
You don't have to beg,
right? Then beg her for freaking sex. Yeah.
Don't ever.
And
beg.
if you don't do it, guess what? She's going to divorce your damn ass and take half of your shit. Tell me.
All right, we're gonna stop right there. So that's that. Shout out to Paul. He's doing great work. Don't want to steal his whole content. Go over to make sure that you go over there to his channel and give him a like. You can watch the rest of the video. I'm pretty sure she did a response to this. What is her name here? What is her name? Do I have her name? Katrina Valentine's channel. You can see the channel, the channel right there. So go over there. I think she did a response. I have not seen that. So we're going to go to Cam Newton now. So I cut this up and I'm going to put up a screenshot of it, and I'm just going to play it in the background. Hopefully the stream doesn't get canceled. You know, some of these big time YouTubers who got, you know, millions of viewers and all that, they don't want their content being used, et cetera, et cetera. So if it gets canceled, we know why. Just come back up and I'll reopen it back up. But we're going to go to Cam Newton now. And I did this one in the video, so it won't be streaming live. It will be a video that I downloaded and I kind of chopped it up and I took what I thought was important that I wanted to talk about. After that, I'll invite you guys up and we can hope you guys are taking notes. You can talk about Miss Katrina. You could talk about or the Cam Newton idea situation. Let's see, video file. There we go.
Going to say, do you want to be here? The pain is going to say, you need to be here.
The reality is nobody.
Can you guys hear it? Give me a 1 if you can hear it. I don't want to run through this whole thing. Come on, Maya. This brother doesn't that brother does not hate women at all. Come on. Telling you what it is, telling you what men want is not. We got to stop this rhetoric about hating. There was a subscriber today who just told me she thought I was another man hater until she saw my content. Listen, telling you what men want, telling you what we desire, telling you how to be better as women, telling you how to be better as men. It's not, I'm not hating on men when I do it. I'm not preaching down to men. I'm not preaching down to women. I'm trying to get us to be better as people, and that we can be better as a community. So we got to stop this. You just don't like men. You just don't like. Come on, we got to be more adult than that. We can hear. Here we go.
Nobody wants to find somebody who's worth going to hell for.
No man can take a woman and transform her. You're not God. You can never take water, baby, and make this 7-Up. Women with daddy issues don't mean you got to be with your daddy.
Single people can't coach relationship people.
Cam, if it went over your dreadlocks, bring it back.
If the man doesn't have high value,
Women come and lead with, fit this, or you have no value. Men come in and go, all right, I'm here, and I'm gonna learn how to be the best I can for you. Oprah's power. You think Stedman's low functioning or low value?
nobody's making Oprah money.
Stedman is not low functioning.
And
Oprah's not.
Stedman is not low value either. Everybody's low value compared to Mama O. I would be a fool
But that's
to
not,
think.
That's not always the case. I have at some point dated a man who is low value.
What was he providing you?
Yeah, listen, I am not a fan of Cam Newton. I don't know why he's got over. Let me say this right. I'm not a fan of Cam Newton. He's got over 1 million subs, but he had a doctor on who's a therapist. That's why I have him on. I'm not talking. I want to get her opinion, right? So this is about her, right? She's the expert. So yeah. So I'm Mr. Doctor, you are only speaking for men with substance. Listen, I'm trying to get the men who are lesser than substance to level up to be substance. I'm trying to get them to level up to be substance. Yes, so somebody talked about the average salary is $50,000. Yeah, okay. That's average. That's a guy who deserves to be loved, to have a wife, to have children. Just because you're making average money doesn't mean you deserve less, and doesn't mean you deserve not to have a family and all that. And you still deserve to be treated like a king in your castle. And if you're making good money as a woman, you still deserve to be treated like a queen in your castle. So I can agree upon that. So yeah, I'm trying to get men to level up, to be the best versions of themselves. So here we go. Let's listen to it. This is just the introduction, and then after this, I'm going to play. Everything else is going to have the screenshot over it.
Functionality.
The functionality?
The what?
Functionality.
That's what you want at 35, baby. Have you been to Africa?
You know Wakanda only come in Wakanda packages. I'm in Atlanta, baby. This is Africa. I'm not married. My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
Did you guys catch that? His desire to get married is bigger than his fear of divorce. So this is why a lot of guys are really hesitant, particularly the more successful people, right? And I'm calling successful those guys who are making $50,000 and up, right? If I'm making $50,000 and the average woman, I still think is making like $40,000, right? It's $42,000, something like that. Average black woman, I should say, right? That's the average. So if I'm making 50, and I might have to pay. I might have to pay. So this is something we got to consider.
I didn't do my research. I thought it was 4, but 8. Okay.
No, baby. It's
By how
8.
many women?
3. And this is the kicker. I want more. Would you consider me a high value man?
High value to high functioning.
You're speeding.
I'm poking speed.
We going there. Hold on. Let me take this.
So let me finish
Let me
this.
take this glove off.
Let me finish this point. I say this with all respect and love. What I'm about to say next, okay, Cam?
I done let you off the hook on numerous times.
Have you? And I gave you a simple answer.
That was not simple. Do you have a tangible source in your life? Ever had a tangible source in your life that you can touch, see, feel?
So I got it blocked off right here. So we're going to pay attention to this. So this is the screen clip, because I don't want to get it strikes. I've seen people's stuff get canceled. Mr. Doctor, who makes less will become more resentful if a woman makes. Yeah, listen. This is what it is. I don't know what people are talking about. We had a conversation about dominance and all this. Listen, a guy wants to make more. I think a man wants to make more. And do I think he'll become resentful? Do I think he'll become angry? Yeah, I do think that'll happen. That's why I push for men to be the best versions of themselves, so they're not running into this type of foolishness. As far as my first clip response is there is an elephant in the room no one is addressing. I thought I tried to address it. I thought I tried to address it, Ms. Nakia. Women want and need sex. Yeah, that's why they go after the Chads and Pookies and Ray Rays. We're acknowledging that, right? So if you're able to withhold it, you are literally saying you don't please me. There's probably a little bit of that too, right? He's not getting it done. He's probably not getting it done, right? All right. Let's
Experience what true love actually is, a healthy relationship.
Yes.
Who is that?
Yes.
No.
You're talking about a romantic relationship?
Yes. That relationship where we're talking about, the question was, were your parents married, right? And they weren't, so that having an impact on you, and that's why you strung them shoestrings up tight.
Yeah.
But I'm like, have you being who you are and knowing the right things and unpacking and this.
Knowing them now. Yes.
Have you identified someone that you can touch, that you can call, that you know that is what you want to be? Like, instead of running away from something, you running to something that you're like, I want that. And who is that for you?
So it is not an individual, no. It's still an ideology. It's still something that I've created in my mind. And so there's not a person that I look at and I say this very humbly, besides myself, because I've done a hell of a job of working through my pain pockets. I've done a hell of a job of getting myself to a place of thriving and no longer surviving. And so that person is me. I look at myself and I say, I want to be you. I look at myself and I say, you know, I love you. I look at myself and I thank that little girl for surviving. And then that little girl looks at that woman and she says, thank you for learning to thrive, because now I'm able to be a little girl and do the things I can do. And I no longer have to protect you as a woman and show up in your relationships, because there's no place for a little girl or a child in adult relationships, not just only romantically, but professionally. And so I would honestly have to say that that woman would be me, working through, conditions of love and coming to a place of self-love.
There's a lot of word salad being thrown out here. There's a lot of word salad that she's talking about here. The question was, who was the model in your life as far as healthy relationships? And she's essentially saying it's no one, it's me. I'm creating this. And this becomes important because she's going to talk about later on this fantasy that women have. Well, to my mind, she's creating this fantasy herself. She's saying that the question that Cam asked her was, what model do you have? What tangible person can you touch or can you talk to that would show you how to be a good wife in a nice functioning marriage relationship? And she's given this word salad about, I've done it myself, I've done this work and all this kind of stuff, right? I'll rewind it a little bit so you can hear it again, but it's like, just say someone.
Is me. I look at myself and I say, I want to be you. I look at myself and I say, you know, I love you. I look at myself and I thank that little girl for surviving. And then that little girl looks at that woman and she says, thank you for learning to thrive, because now I'm able to be a little girl and do the things I can do. And I no longer have to protect you as a woman and show up in your relationships, because there's no place for a little girl or a child in adult relationships, not just only romantically, but professionally. And so I would honestly have to say that that woman would be me, working through, conditions of love and coming to a place of self-love. Yeah, 100%. I am who I want to be.
Okay, so this is a trigger for me. Because if you've never witnessed it firsthand, a healthy relationship, you find that source in yourself, which
Well, I never said I haven't witnessed a healthy relationship. Is there a person you said, tangible source that I look at where I'd want to emanate or be like? No. I've witnessed healthy relationships, yes, and I've been in healthy relationships, yes. But anything that I've witnessed as far as a person that I want to be like or emanate, I don't have that. No.
So, do you want to get married?
Hard, yes. Absolutely want to get married.
So my question is, if you've never seen a healthy marriage, how are you able to identify one?
So let me answer again. I didn't grow up in the household where a healthy marriage was something that was present for learned behavior. I am 41 years old. I'm an adult who has done a lot of work. So in today's world, with my work and my healing and my old friends who I have now made new friends, I now have, and I do see healthy relationships.
But none that you want to be like, yo,
no, because
I like what y'all have.
Right.
I want to emulate that.
no, and it's not because what they have isn't healthy. It's because I have a strong sense of self, and I'm not knocking people who look to other people and say, I would like that, or I get what you're saying. There's nothing wrong with that. But I have a strong sense of self, and I don't want what someone else.
I agree. I think she contradicted herself a number of times here. And this is one of the biggest ones. She talks about the contradiction. The biggest ones that I see is that she's talking about, and I got to break this up so I don't get these strikes. The biggest one that I see is the fact that she's talking about, I want this, I got this fantasy. And then later on, she's going to say, don't create a fantasy, but you're creating one. You got healthy role models, essentially what she's saying. I've seen them, but I got this fantasy in my own mind, but then don't create fantasies. And you're going to hear her talk about that later.
Else has, I want what is aligned in God's will for me is. And so I have a strong understanding that
I believe Miss Anita said that his parents, and I think, his parents were pastors, right? If I caught that right. So I think he's seen it. Not that all pastors are good, obviously, but I think he's seen it. 2-parent home and all that. So
what's for me ain't gonna look like your healthy relationship. And if I get caught up in, I want that, or I want it to mirror that, then I may be looking and meeting my husband saying, you don't fit this box, which is called compartmentalizing. And my husband, who's God sending to me after all my work, doesn't need to fit a box. He needs to come authentically who he is. And my job is to love him where he is, how he is, and pray on the ways that I don't understand, because I'm not supposed to lean onto my own understanding. I'm supposed to trust God in all his ways. And when doing that means I'm not looking for anything externally to idolize. When I have myself in God and I know that who my husband is, I will feel it. I don't have to see it in someone else's world. And the other thing is we got to be careful with wanting what somebody else has from the optics, because it could look like we want this beautiful mansion and we go in that house, excuse my language, that motherfucker's more homeless than people who sleep on the street. Because just because you got 4 walls and you have a marble floors and you have a gated home and you have a 10,000 or 20,000 square foot home doesn't mean that thing ain't more homeless.
Miss Be Happy, I'm assuming that you're a miss. There's no way that this is true. That's not true. Men are just out there just knocking dudes around. I don't know where you're getting this ideas from. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true.
The person who's in a high-rise apartment, or a person who's in a single apartment living in downtown LA, and they're a student who's poor. Stop wanting things that ain't yours. Stop wanting things that don't belong to you. That's called despair. Get you some help. Get you some healing, get you a sense of self, and start wanting things that are yours. And then you may not end up with a man who's beating your ass because you thought he was putting her on jets and buying her Birkin bags and taking her to nice restaurants when she was going home getting her ass beat. But you wanted it though, right? Be careful what you ask for. Start asking God, reveal to me what I'm saying I want, so I understand the transparency of it. God, reveal to me what's mine, so I can have that. And I don't end up praying to you to get out of it. I don't rush to the altar just to become a divorcee or a baby.
Listen, I think about letting these kind of comments stand and all that, but I just can't. It's not true, right? So some of the biggest domestic abusers, and you can check the stats on this, are women, right? Abusing their children, abusing the elderly, right? So knock it off. Knock it off. Knock it off. Be factual in what you're saying.
Baby mama or a baby daddy.
Your profession affected your outlook on a relationship.
100%.
How?
My husband will be very, very grateful to all of my clients these past 16, 17 years, because my female clients have helped shape me to have more compassion. It has helped shape me to have better understanding of the pressures and the seasons that come in motherhood, that come in marriage. And my male clients, particularly my black male clients, the married ones, have really gave me insight on the weight that comes with being a husband, being a father, how much they really are giving their all and trying their best, but it looks different to her. And so learning how to read and communicate, Cam, what does it mean when you text me randomly throughout the day and just say, what are you doing? Is that a message? What are you doing? Is that a message where you're just trying to tell me, baby, I love you, but you didn't say the words? So if I know that what are you doing means I love you, as your wife, the Bible says, love you by knowledge of you, not understanding, knowledge. I now know how to code that. So that helps me not personalize, but you ain't doing it my way. But you didn't say, I love you. And you saying, but baby, I say what you're doing, and that means I love you. So my clients have helped me dissipate my ego. And they have.
I didn't say violence. I said violence towards intimate partners. I'm also considering little children, and I'm considering the elderly. It's women who abuse mostly little children and the elderly. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying violence. Of course, men are more violent than women. Yes, I agree with that.
Have helped me not only gain a sense of self, but understand the different languages that men can speak. Also, it's allowed me to have more compassion and break my fairy tale ideology that women have. I always say this: men get married and become a father and go, oh, shoot. Okay, I didn't know it was going to take all of this. Game time. Let me try to figure this out. Let me try to see if I can do this and do that and get the card and do this and love her more and balance all this. Women, we meet you and we're like, our idea and our fairy tale is you are Prince Charming, honey. And then we try to get you to fit Prince Charming. And the more you don't fit it, the more y'all end up in my office going.
That's important. This is where the contradiction comes in, because she's talking about fitting. She's saying that men kind of adjust to what's going on around them. Here's what's here. And the women have a hard time. This is what she's saying. She's the doctor. She's saying that the women have a hard time adjusting because you got this idea in your head. But that's the same thing she just said about herself. I got this idea in my head. I'm not looking at other people and what it takes for them to be successful. I got this idea in my head. I did the work. But you're doing the same thing that you're counseling people about, right? I'll rewind it so you can hear that again.
We try to see if I can do this and do that and get the card and do this and love her more and balance all this. Women, we meet you and we're like, our idea and our fairy tale is you are Prince Charming, honey. And then we try to get you to fit Prince Charming. And the more you don't fit it, the more y'all end up in my office going, but he doesn't do this. Well, has he ever did it? No, but I always just thought my husband would. Your husband or this man? So are you getting to know who you with? Or are you making this man fit this fairy tale ideology that doesn't even exist anyways? And so women come and lead with fit this, or you have no value. Men come in and go, all right, I'm here and I'm going to learn how to be the best I can for you. And then women do what? You're taking too long. You're not getting there because you haven't fit the box of the fairy tale. So for me, it's helped me break down what all of my clients know. Y'all know I call it the fairy tale ideology. And I'm not exaggerating, Cam. I want to say 100%, but I'm going to go 99.9% of women who come in my office, I'm having to work on breaking their fairy tale ideology of their husband. And hold on.
The same fairy tale ideology that she has. I don't know why she doesn't get that. You can rewind it. He asked her, you see all this stuff around you. No, I did the work and this is what I want. You know, I'm not looking at other people. No shame to them. That's what she said. But people come in her office, she got to break their eye. Am I missing this? Am I messing this up? This is what she's saying. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about this this doctor here. What's her name? Cheyenne, whatever her name is. I don't know anything about her. I don't know if she got a YouTube channel. I don't know anything about her, but this is not going well for her in my estimation. And these ladies are experts. So hopefully Miss Anita will come up here and as another expert and tell us why these people are wrong or agree with them. I don't know what she's going to say. If she's going to come up, I don't know.
Let me say this. To his defense, they almost always have an amazing husband. But because his amazingness doesn't fit her idea of amazing, guess what? He ain't shit to her. And I'm remember, have no emotional investment besides I really want them to get this, work through this. I'm going, so because he don't fit your tone of red, you
Confusing me too, good. She's confusing. She's doing a lot of word salad. There's a lot of word salad going on here. It's a lot of word salad.
gonna tell me this man still ain't red?
He burgundy though.
You see what I'm saying?
You know, he there.
Interesting enough, I would say that there are 70% low functioning women, 40% low functioning men.
What? What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her estimation is that there's 70% low functioning women and 40% low functioning men. That's her estimation. Now, I don't know what she's basing this on. I think she's going to give a kind of a rough definition of this later on. But 70%, I think what she's saying is that people who know how to communicate with each other. If you look these terms up, and it's like, and I did Google this as, and attach it to psychology. What is she talking about? I'm not a therapist. But I think what she's talking about is, in her opinion, is that they don't have the ability to communicate effectively with each other. If you get into an argument, you don't know how to stop the argument. You know how to listen to each other. That's what I'm assuming she's meaning by high functioning in relationship type of sense. That's what I think she's talking about.
Now, with those low functioning men, did they ever say that a man of high function will never really know true love?
No, I don't even believe that, but no.
Okay. So what identifies a woman to be high functioning?
A high functioning woman is a woman who wants you. She doesn't need you. And let me clear that up. When I say she doesn't need you, it doesn't mean she's independent. That means she is interdependent. I only not need you because my pain doesn't need your pain. My dysfunction doesn't need your dysfunction to feed it for us to be in this relationship, meaning I don't need a trauma bond with you, okay? She wants you because she wants the healed part of you, but has the capacity, because we're all human, we ain't perfect, to facilitate and deal with the unhealed part of you that's going to show up in the relationship at some point. And hers is going to show up too. Mine is going to show up too. And so that's why I always say, I want a hybrid. I want a hybrid for y'all out there who want to know.
I think she's making the same mistakes as her clients, quite honestly. I think she's making the same mistakes.
Meaning a man who's high functioning enough to meet my healthy high functioning, but low functioning enough to deal with me when my abandonment inflames, to deal with me when some of my dysfunctions that I'm still working on inflame. Because if he's too high functioning, guess what? He doesn't have the bandwidth to deal with the low functioning part, which then means he can only connect with folks who are not being fully authentic within themselves. Meaning you may have a loving relationship, but you won't have a real intimate, deep, vulnerable relationship. I'm a woman who seeks connection and vulnerability. I'm not into casualties or casual sex, just TMI or not, meaning I like the depth of things. And so I need you to see me. I need you to see my broken. I want you to see my heart, whatever that comes with. And I'm not embarrassed about it. I'll tell you about it. I'll show it to you. And I'm okay with a man who can facilitate it. But what a high functioning man may do is if he's all the way high functioning, he has already cut off the side of him that is authentic, and there's a superficialness there that won't allow him to connect with a real person. So can he still love and experience love? Yeah, love has it just loves everything. But will he experience the depth of some of the wholeness of love, meaning the down, the up, the ugly, the heaven, the hell mom was talking about? No.
Now, I'm having a hard time to believe a very educated, a very attractive woman out of 41 years have not met Mr. Right. That's enough time to find a lot of things out.
I bet.
And yet,
Mm-hmm.
no kids,
Mm-hmm.
single.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, but I am saying, are women's expectations unrealistic?
No, I'm gonna say, like I said on Nick, the question shouldn't.
Apologies, I had my mic on mute. I do have I am going to open up the panel just a few more minutes. This is a question about whether women's standards are too high. Listen, I'm playing this because I thought this. First of all, this was sent to me. Somebody sent this to me. I wasn't going to watch it, so somebody sent this to me. Wanted my opinion, so I was like, you know, we'll talk about it tonight. That's first. Second is, you know, we have an expert in the house, Miss Anita. She can certainly come up here and try to elaborate on this word salad that we're all listening to. So, and anyone else can come up here and tell us, right? So I'll give you my opinion, and I'm definitely interested in hearing yours and all that. So, sounds so condescending. So we'll finish this off. Only like maybe another minute or two.
Be why isn't a woman of age, of success, of a certain caliber not married with kids? The question should be, why are people rushing to the altar just to become divorcees or baby mamas and baby daddies? I think if anything, we need to be teaching our society, take your time, young man or young woman, so that you can get to know not just this person, but yourself first, so that you can choose a life partner, not that that person isn't exempt to divorce, instead of rushing to the altar just to become a divorcee or a baby mama and have multiple kids by multiple women, just to say you have broken families everywhere. I don't see no benefit in that. I believe, like I tell my brother, he's in here, Shane, all the time, and who's 31 with no kids and doing well for himself, take your time. You don't need to rush to an altar just to divorce this woman. And another thing is people who actually feel high valued within themselves, not financially, internally they feel high valued. They're not rushing to have a wife or a husband at the expense of divorce just to feel like they've added value to themselves. Because it's a deficit if you're marrying for the wrong purposes. It is an asset if you're marrying from a place of creating a family, of creating stability, of raising kids who can see this thing move and this house not be homeless, but this house have wealth in it, the real wealth that actually sustains. And so for me, I'd rather take my time choosing than end up doing time because I'm making wrong decisions. I'm good.
Okay, so that's all I wanted to play from that. I don't want to steal anybody's, you know, the totality of everybody's content. So you guys can go over to Cam Newton's channel and pick up the rest of that. And you can also go to Ask an Older Man. Shout out to Paul. I got to make sure that I at him in this video. I think he's doing excellent work. The link is in the chat. Anyone who wants to come up can. I just ask you to be respectful. You can agree with me, you can disagree, but just be respectful in all of that. Yeah, it was exhausting. So anybody wants to come up here? So the link is in the chat. Click on it. I'll have you come up. Just tell me, you know, where you're from and all that kind of stuff. Let me try to pin it here. So anybody wants to come up, you can certainly come up. I got to say, I was not impressed with her. I thought there was a lot of words. I wasn't impressed with either of these experts who weighed in, either of them, in all honesty. So some people get married out of pressure for family, not good. If you're a woman, the sand is running out of your hourglass. Oh, wow. This makes me sleepy. Well said. Anyone want to come up? Anyone want to come up? No one wants to come up. Just type what you. Let's start off with. Miss Anita's in the house. I can't unmute your mic, Miss Anita.
Something
Can't
is
unmute your
wrong.
guest
There
mic.
we go.
Okay, we got you
Can
now.
you hear me?
I got
I
you
was
loud
like,
and
I
clear.
can't hear me. Can
Yeah, I
Miss
was like,
Anita
I
is
can't
in
hear
the
you.
house, y'all. Tell us what was going on there. Tell us what's going on.
Okay, so okay, hold on. There we go. I'm sorry. There was an echo because I had you playing on the other side, so I had to turn it off. Um, the number one thing that I think men and women need to understand is there are two dating pools. That's the number one thing I want people to understand. And so I admit I get frustrated. I get very frustrated when I hear like the gentleman that you had on earlier. And I like his channel. I do like his channel. But I get a little frustrated because he is talking about people in that first dating pool. So when he starts talking about women being bent over across cars and all of that, yeah, those are women in the first dating pool. Guess what? The women in the second dating pool, we've never experienced that. We've never had a Chad. We've never had a Tyrone. We've never had a Pookie. So, people who are traumatized, people who are broken, people who are insecurely attached, people who have all kinds of wounds and all kinds of issues. Yes, those are the men and women that are going to make a bunch of kids and have a bunch of kids and have multiple, fathers and mothers and all this stuff. However, we don't talk enough about the second dating pool. People who are securely attached for the most part. Those people are either in healthy relationships or they are happily single. Like we don't talk about that enough. So that's all I wanted to jump on here and say. That is forever going to frustrate me because we're talking about the people in the first dating pool, the people with all of the problems. And there's a lot of us out here that aren't that. like when he was saying that, I was like, I've never that never happened to me. And I know other women that we're like, yeah, that I never did that. Um, so that's why I think it's so important that we work on our own healing, right? We got to work on our own healing. We got to make sure that we are narcissism proof. And I teach women how to do that. You shouldn't even a Cam Newton should be a total turnoff. Like all his money aside, he should be a complete turnoff to you. Yes, he has a lot of money. Okay. I was married to a man who's a multimillionaire. He has a lot of money. And if that's all I cared about, I'd still be married to him. However, because I'm in the second dating pool, I actually wanted a real, genuine, loving relationship. And when that didn't happen, I was like, well, I'm not willing to stay in this dysfunctional relationship. So that's all I wanted to say. I get frustrated sometimes when I hear about the first dating pool, because that's really all we're hearing about. We're not hearing about the second dating pool, the healthy people for the most part.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. What did you think about the
Mhm.
word salad from the second lady? Or was I missing?
No. Here's my one criticism of her. I wanted her to be more succinct in her answer. Right? I just wanted her to be more succinct. Like I even noticed him getting frustrated by that she wasn't more succinct. Just succinctly answer the question. You're going to have less confusion and less word salad when you're succinct. So that was my problem. She just kept going on and on and on. I was like, can you just be direct?
Very good. Okay, thank you so much. You're certainly welcome to stay. I want to
Yep.
get to Miss Clever Girl. Clever Girl, you got it. What say you?
Howdy, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for having me on again.
Absolutely.
I love your show. I love how you present the information to us. I don't know who was saying that you're a woman hater or a man hater. I totally do not agree with that. Not at all. You give the information in such a way that it's easy for us to hear it and understand it.
Mhm.
Now, my point, though, again, I'm going to have to harp on is that Black women get a different experience in this world because our communities, again, I'm just going to say what I said last time. Our communities are left exposed because our males don't build businesses that create jobs. Y'all, if y'all loved us, y'all would build us hospitals because Black women die more in childbirth
Mm.
than anybody else in this country. And if y'all loved your children, you would build the schools to keep our Black males from the classroom to prison pipeline. We don't get the
Mhm.
same kind of love everybody else gets. And so If you loved us, you would build us the shops that we could shop at. You would give us banks so we won't have predatory lending that we get all the time. These things will shield us from racism. We don't get this because, first of all, it's hard for y'all to do it. I understand that. However, you have to do it anyway because every other race of man in this country does it for their women. And so we're standing out here. Y'all want us to be soft and sweet, but we got to go to work with you. We got to go to work alongside you and deal with people who hate us in our jobs, people who think we DEI and affirmative action hires, or they think we got attitudes because we're black, all that kind of stuff like that. And so, on top of that, it leaves our communities exposed because black girls are the most sex trafficked in this country. And so we don't people come in our communities and do whatever they want. You go into a white neighborhood and see if a white neighbor gonna let you stand in their neighborhood without challenging you. Go into a Hispanic neighborhood and see if a Hispanic people ain't gonna come say, "What's up?" Well, they're gonna say something to you. They're gonna check you out. Same thing. I've seen Asian people. They stick together in their stores and stuff like that. So, but we don't have these same protections. And because we don't have these same protections, you have women who seem aggressive to you and also they seem like men to you. But it's because we have to deal with the same crap that y'all have to deal with. Y'all just don't give us credit for it. And if y'all really truly love us, all y'all got to do is start doing these things for us and see how soft we get. Because black women, we really do want to love y'all. Black women date almost exclusively black men. So in the small data pool that we have of men, and the small amount of men that we have to date from, and even though there's 2 million more of us than y'all, we still love black. We love y'all to death. Y'all just and we give y'all attitude, but y'all just don't give us what everybody else gets. So that's all. That's the only point I had.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Let me ask you a question, Miss Anita. Before I get to Raquel, explain to us what she talked about. I think you commented on the 60-40. Explain that whole concept of the high functioning and all that kind of stuff. Like, explain.
Yeah, she wanted to address the two dating pools. So the insecurely attached people and the securely attached people. That is the two dating pools that exist in the world, men and women. And right now, the estimate is 60% of people are insecurely attached. That's the first dating pool. The people who have all the problems and they struggle with communicating and struggle with conflict and struggle with emotional regulation. All those people are in the first dating pool. The second dating pool is around 40%, and that's the securely attached people. Those are the people who are emotionally intelligent, people who have good communication, people who know how to regulate themselves throughout conflict. So right now, there are more insecurely attached people than there are securely attached people. And that's why we're having all the problems we're having.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. Miss Raquel, what say you?
Thank you. Miss Anita, I totally do agree with what you're saying because in speaking to many women, I think the biggest problem is like what Miss Anita was saying is people are not taking time to heal. And as long as we do not heal from the previous relationship, I mean, I go as far back as if we think about our young girls that are dating so young, 12, 13-year-olds, they're experiencing trauma already. Yep. It's not always that mom and dad are going to be in the home. And usually when they are, there's one that dominates. And we still have many daughters who are affected that have mom relationships that have been hindered. And all of this is carried on into their relationships, into adulthood. And it shapes and it frames the way they see men, whether they have a relationship with dad or not. And many who might say, well, I didn't have a father. Well, we don't marry our fathers. Our fathers might give us an identity, but our mothers actually teach us how to nurture. So when we have moms who are spiritually connected to their daughters and to have a healthy relationship with the disciplines that are necessary, both emotional, physically, mentally, and spiritually, it's going to make for a better future. I was divorced for 17 years and I made a conscious decision that I would raise my daughters. But in that process, I had to go and I had a choice every day. And I am a firm believer that since God created relationship, he holds the plan for it. So we want his benefits without having him in the middle of it. So in that process, in raising my daughters, I had to teach them how to become young women, how to heal from the trauma of divorce, even though their dad was in the picture. So we can't negate that when we have grandma, we have daughter, and we have 3 generations looking for a man, and they're all broken, then we're going to continue in this cycle. So the young lady that was last speaking, she frustrated me. First of all, just her presentation, but the words I could not get. All I can get from that is that definitely she has some brokenness in her, has had bad relationships. Obviously, she didn't speak to that. It sounds like it did, to where everything that, towards the end, not every marriage ends up in a divorce, and divorce is an option, and life will teach us many experiences, but the main thing is for us to be made whole according to the standard that God has set. Now, not everybody believes, but there are many that do. And when we start to do that, we're going to start to see a change in our sons and our daughters and our grandchildren, to where the next generation, we know that for me, I have grandchildren. So the next generation, they're going to have healthy wives, and it's going to continue. And we're going to have and build that legacy of healthy relationships. So we have to start with healing either through counseling, through journaling, through every means possible, through prayer, building a relationship with Christ. I mean, that's where I would start anyways, and then continue to be made whole so that we can raise whole children, because broken women are raising broken children. And that's unfortunate. And we're going to continue to see this cycle and just be frustrated in it. And I refuse to do that. I'll continue on my on YouTube to share my testimony, my examples, my errors, my mistakes, and also my victories, and hopefully be able to help women transform and to becoming whole women, for the sake of our next generation. Thank you.
Ms. Raquel, please send me an email after this. I'd like to talk a little bit.
Sure, I sure will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Miss Glorious Love, what say you?
Hi, thanks for allowing me to come up again. And thanks, Anita, from your perspective as well. For your perspective as well, I actually am subscribed to you as well. So I listen to you a lot. I listen to you a lot. And you brought up something that I find myself facing with as far as being in the dating pool again. I'm not quite in. I'm kind of half in and half out. one foot in, 1 foot out, because I'm a widow, a recent widow. I've been married most of my adult life, and I'm kind of a relatively recent widow. And I'm noticing, of course, that the dating scene has changed, and but I also noticed that with my maturity, I'm not willing to sacrifice my my standards, and I appreciate your perspective a lot as well. And I share one of them, which is that I am requiring marriage. But the weird part about me, though, that may set me apart, and I found that I'm in an interesting spot, is that I don't want to be married. Yeah, I know. Look. I know. I don't want to be married right now. I want to be maybe, have companionship, but not married. And companionship doesn't mean sex. So, yeah, I know that's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird stance. But I just wanted. I said all that to say that I appreciate both of your perspectives. I think I've had a chat discussion with you in the chat, Mr. Big. I'm going to call you Mr. Big. I've had a chat discussion of not wasting people's time. which I took.
Oh
to
yeah,
heart.
yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah. I remember that.
which I did take to, like, I took to heart. So I've kind of like backed off from dating. I just wanted to let you guys know that and just talk about that, because to be honest with you, I was listening to you earlier. I dropped off because my daughters called me, so I was in a conversation with them. So I didn't hear a lot of what you guys discussed after the Cam Newton kind of topic. So that's all I wanted to say. I want to know your perspective about my stance, though, Nita. What do you think? Is that I saw your expression?
I think but I'm going to be honest with you. So I went on 3 dates with a man who was 66. I've never dated a man older. Well, I shouldn't say that. The last serious relationship I had was with a man who was 4 years older. He is one of 2 men in my entire life that I've ever dated that was older than me. Every other man was younger than me. So this gentleman who was 10 years older than me, I went way out of my wheelhouse going out with him. But we went on 3 dates, and over a period of 30 days. So over the period of a month, we went on 3 dates. And in my humble opinion, he was that gentleman. He wanted a companionate relationship. And he was okay with whether there was sex involved or not. Okay. I, on the other hand, I want a husband and I want to throw down. Like, I'm ready to throw down. I'm beyond ready to throw down. Okay? I'm ready. So I was like, no, this is not for me, but you're a lovely gentleman. So there are gentlemen out there, and maybe you go a little older, he's not as randy as he was, once was in his youth. And he's okay with a companionate relationship.
Whole food, plant-based diet will turn that all around.
Okay. But yeah, I was like, So,
I see Miss Raquel pop back up in here. What you got to say about that?
Yes, I have a question for Miss Anita, but I wanted to respond because I have some friends and women that I've known that are recent widows. And it seemed to be a season there that I was talking to some of the women, but I found some to go from one spectrum to another, where one who she was kind of bitter in her marriage. So she went from losing her husband into a relationship that went nowhere. So now she's devastated with something she never experienced with her first husband. And then I had other friends who they just had the most wonderful husbands, and I knew their husbands, and they had a wonderful marriage. And it took a while before they came to a point where they said, okay, now I'm ready to date. And they found that to be a challenge because, of course, now they're older. The dating scene is way past what it used to be. And also my concern, I don't know if you agree with that, Ms. Anita, that when we do that and we just look for companionship, I myself, I will not have a male as a friend because my emotions, I'm too committed. So I know myself. You can't skip the sex. So I think we set ourselves up for disappointment, for hurt. And if we had the most wonderful relationship and didn't face those hurts, that we might set ourselves up for that. But now we have grown children like myself that have grown children, I have grandchildren. Now we have to answer for more. So from that perspective, Miss Anita, what that's how I view it. How do you view it? Looking at it that way. And I don't consider myself being in the dating scene because I'm just not. It just doesn't happen for me. And I'm okay, but I'm not wanting to stay single, but I'm content where I am and just working on knowing that one day when that happens, I just want to be ready. And ready for marriage. I don't just want companionship. I'll get me a puppy for that. But yeah.
Right. So you just have to decide what is the priority. What's the priority? I believe that once we make a decision that it's a priority to whether it's have companionship, as she stated, or it's to remarry, we then have to act like it. We have to put a plan in place, which is now, this is my priority. My priority is to actively develop a strategy to meet men, to date men, to vet men, and then hopefully one of those situations turns into a relationship, and that relationship turns into a proposal and a marriage. So I guess I want to understand where you are in terms of your priority. Is that something you want? Is that something you're willing to actively pursue? Because that's what I hear a lot. I hear a lot of women saying, oh, sure, I want to remarry. Oh, sure, I want to, have a healthy husband. Okay, is that your priority? And are you willing to actively develop a strategy around it?
Oh, I won't take the time to develop a strategy. I think that's just sort of working out that way. Okay. Because it's not. I'm busy. I have 2 businesses and a ministry as well, so that keeps me busy. My children and all, but I'm aware because I'm by myself, so I know that I'm single. So there's no denying that. But when I say that I'm not, no one's knocking on my door. They're not knocking to go, to meet anybody. If I go to Walmart, to the store, I'm always open to that opportunity. Wherever I am, I'm aware of that, but not to the degree that I'm going to make a plan on a weekend to go out so I can meet somebody. Not to that degree. Just to avoid I don't know. That's not like a plan in that way, but plan by way of making sure that I keep my boundaries and live within my boundaries, and that I continue to build to be who I would like to one day marry again. Yeah.
Okay. Because that's one of the things I hear, believe it or not, from younger women. And I think that's a mistake that younger women are making. They are, because women say to me all the time, well, you were lucky. No, I wasn't. I was intentional. I had a plan. I had a strategy. And guess what? At 30 years old, I announced on my 30th birthday that before this year was over, I would find a husband. 6 months later, I had a ring on my finger. I got engaged. So that is a person who has an intention toward, like, this has a high priority. And that's what I want to see women do. If you're serious about it, then I want you to, raise it up that hierarchy. At that point in my life, that was at the top of the pile, was finding a husband, getting married, and having children. But I'm seeing women put work, their girlfriends, their girls' trips, and their businesses, they put everything else, and then they'll say, well, I'm open. And I'm like,
just add to that? Can I just add? I'm sorry. I just wanted to add because I wanted to interject for just 1 second. I do appreciate what you just said, but I will say this. I don't believe that there's an absolute when it comes to this. That's when it comes to, the dating and companionship. I don't believe that there's an absolute. Like, for me, I will say that I am not looking ever to be married again. I'm saying that now, but that I'm also open to, if I meet someone and things work from there, I'm open to that. But what I'm not doing, I'm not being intentional in seeking that type of relationship, I guess, because I was the young lady said before that I had that marriage that, and it's hard because he had hard shoes to follow, because he was that for me. He was that one for me. So, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm not rushing to get back into a marriage, but it's not totally off the table. I'm just not looking for that right now. So maybe I should phrase it that way. I'm not looking for that right now. And I'm definitely not being intentional in that area. But what I will say is that I'm noticing when I do date, and which is really freaking me out to a certain degree, is that I'm dating men or have dated men who are ready to just jump into a relationship. I'm not understanding that. I'm not getting, because I'm listening on, I follow YouTube and I follow this one and I follow that one, who are saying that men are just not into relationships and they just don't want this and they don't want that. But I'm finding quite the opposite. That's terrifying me to a certain degree, because I jump to, well, why? Well, why? Why do you want a relationship? Why do you want to jump to a relationship and try to hurry up and take someone off the market? So, I don't know what someone's experience with that is.
What age range are these men in?
Yeah, they're the hospice men. Okay, no, I'm just
But that would explain it, right?
And, yeah. And I would say the age range is like 50 to be honest with you, like you, I don't really go that much older, but so 50 to 60.
I don't know if you broke up or froze or whatever. I don't know. Are you there, Glorious? All right, Maya's been waiting a little bit. Maya, go ahead.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Great. I came up for two reasons. I wanted to clarify what I said about a lot of these channels seem to start off with men giving advice to women. And a lot of women are usually there listening to the advice because we really do want to learn, you know, whether we had fathers or not. A lot of us are not that familiar with how the dynamics between men and women work in relationships. And we're really trying to learn, I believe, you know, how to be better women, wives, girlfriends in these relationships. And what I have found is that a lot of times these channels end up turning against the women, if you put it that way, to where it becomes more about talking about I think Dr. Anita said something about there's category 1 women and different category. And I'm like, we all get put in the same category as if somehow we're all, what they call it, 3 or 4s.
Mm-hmm.
When that is not the case. A lot of us, I believe, are the women that men do say we should be feminine. Well, maybe I'm not that feminine because I do have masculine traits. I'm not going to deny that. I've been told that enough. But I do feel like we all get put in the same box. And no matter what relationship we get into, I think men see us all in that one frame. And my sincerest hope is that this does not become that channel. That's all I'm saying. As far as that. And I also wanted to find out if it's I wasn't sure what this panel exactly was talking about, because it seemed like it went into, well, who would I want to date? And my whole thing is, I thought we were talking about the whole idea that men and women are seeing relationships differently, period. Men, I don't want to say they only want sex, but yes, that seems to be the main focus. And a lot of times women are looking for love. And that to me is where I guess the big rift is.
I think that is a big rift. I think that is a big rift. Now, I think that's I think that's huge. I think that's huge. And I think that some of the things that Miss Anita has said, as far as, or even the people who want to just jump into relationships, whatever age they are, they just want to jump into that because that's what they're looking for. Either, I agree with you, either they're looking for a caretaker after a certain age, or they're looking for someone to just, okay, let's get this done and let's get into bed. So you got to kind of vet them out. So that's kind of where it was. But I wanted to focus and highlight about what the two experts were saying. And I thought that the men were disagreeing with what they said, right? Paul disagreed with the first lady. I forget her name, the doctor there, Miss Karen, whatever her name was, Katrina Valente. Paul, the host, disagreed. And the second point was Cam Newton. I don't know if he understood what the lady was saying, because I had to watch it a few times because I thought it was a lot of word salad. So, but there was a lot of disagreement. And my point, yes, you're right, Miss Maya. We're not hearing each other.
Right.
We're missing each other. We're talking, but we're not hearing each other. So I appreciate you coming up and giving your point of view there.
Okay.
Miss Anita, did you have anything to add to that? And there was a question I want to ask you in the comment section. I want to scroll up to it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I understand what Maya is speaking of. And again, that's what I spoke to, is that depending on what rooms I'm in, all women are put in that, like she said, that 304, or I'm money hungry. I just want a man's money. That is not securely attached women. That's not us. Like and here's the contradiction. So in one side of it, the men are saying we're boss chicks and we have money and, we have our own homes and our own cars and all of this. And then on the other side, they'll say, well, all women want money. I'm like, okay, but we have money. Like, I'm confused. Do we want our money and your money? Like, I'm just confused, because, and women are using us to, go on dates and eat for free. And I'm thinking, okay. And here's the interesting thing about my situation. So, Big L, you had commented on the video where I talked about 3 dates, right? And over 30 days, I went on 3 dates with this gentleman. When I had to deliver the news that I don't know if we're a good fit. We're in 2 different seasons of life. He's semi-retired. I'm very much not. I work 7 days a week. He works 18 hours a week. He owns his home. He owns 2 vehicles, and he has a pretty laid back lifestyle. But I said, yeah, I think we're in different seasons of life. I don't think we're a good fit, and I don't feel any romantic feelings. The first thing he said was, well, we've only been on 3 dates. That's not enough time. And I said, well, it kind of is for me. I think 3 dates is like the first date. It could be good or bad. And let's say it's bad. The second date, let's say it's good. So now I need a tiebreaker. I need a tiebreaker date to determine which way I should go. So in this case, I don't think any of the dates were really bad, but I was waiting for either something to be revealed or us to have some sort of connection or to click over something. And that really didn't happen. And so I gave those 3 opportunities to do that. And I was like, yeah, I really don't feel like interested or curious about this person. But he felt like he should have got more time. And I was like, okay, now I'm really confused, because there was another friend of mine who said like, oh, that's too much. It's too many dates. But this guy is saying that's too few dates. So I was like, I've been using this for 40 years. So I'm going to stick with my system.
What would have happened after 3 dates, though? I mean, let's just say that you did feel that connection. What would have happened after the 3rd date?
We would have continued. We would have continued talking. We would have continued dating. And we would have had more hardline conversations like, what's your intention long term? Where would you like to see this go? Like, that we feel a connection. We're interested in each other. Okay, so now we kind of really get down to the nitty gritty. And we negotiate. We kind of negotiate like, okay, would you like to just date exclusively? Like, we kind of have a negotiation after 3 dates. Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. I don't know what negotiations, but
that's the word. I know. I know that doesn't sound very romantic, but
no. I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. But yeah, definitely. Okay, listen, I like you. You like me. We went on 3 dates.
Yeah.
You've seen other people. You might seen other people. We got to try to make this happen. I get that.
That's it.
So I want to ask you a question about this that's on the screen here from Mike David. I know this is going to be unpopular to say, but Black churches are destroying the community. I know you're very heavily into church. What are your thoughts about that? There's been a lot of talk about the Black church in particular keeping Black women single. Give us your thoughts about
that. We need to do some work, right? I did a video about wolves in sheep's clothing, and I want you to understand that those wolves are everywhere. And God told us this. He told us that the church was going to basically be destroyed. So it's not surprising to me. It's not surprising to me that that's now a place that has become very secularized, because he said that that's exactly what was going to happen. So here's what I'm encouraging every person to do. First of all, the church, the pastor, or whatever you want, whatever, that's not your God. You have to make a concerted effort to know God. You have to make a concerted effort to relate to him. And you can relate to him by reading the Bible. You can relate to him by praying. You can relate to him by meditating on the word or just being in silence. God will visit you when you shut up. When you put your phone down and when you shut up and you go into nature and you walk with no headphones on, God will speak to you. And he will direct line to you. Hey, this that you're doing? Stop doing that. This over here. I like what you're doing there. Like, he will direct you. His spirit will come into you and he will direct you on how to live. He will direct you on a good church to attend or a good ministry to attend. He will direct you away from a not so good church. So my thing with church is that we have got to be very clear that we're not worshiping a building. We're not worshiping a man. Okay. Our goal is the direct line to God, to the omnipotent being that created everything. And if we just read the word, like if we just read the word and we understood that and we got into that meditative state with God, he would lead and direct us. And like I said, that's how I discern every person. I can see their spirit, but it's God helping me to do that. But yeah, there's nothing surprises me. Nothing surprises me about what we're seeing in church, how secular it is and all that stuff. I mean, that does not surprise me at all. At all. I would like to see church focus on bringing more men into congregations and however they needed to do that. That's what I would like to see happen, that they stop being so female matriarchal centered and that they actually focus on male ministry, like masculine, ministry. That's really what they should be focused on, because as we know historically, look at any movement, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, any movement like that. And look at the women they come right into it, right behind it. They're going to follow whatever the leader men are doing. So that's really what church needs to be focused on, leadership and going after men and teaching them how to be good leaders. And to me, they're doing the opposite. They're appealing to women and, and that's to me what all the showboating is about. All the showboating and the theatrics and all of that, all the hooping and the hollering. And no, just focus on the men, focus on healthy leadership, focus on teaching them and guiding them and directing them, and then having them guide and direct their women and their families. But yeah, I'm not surprised. None of this is surprising me.
Very good. Very good. I think that's pretty much what I want to cover for tonight. People thought the church was going, but it's the right way. Yeah. So we're going to leave it off there. Thank you so much, Miss Anita, for joining on.
Yes.
Miss Raquel, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Just to the church piece on that, what I've have found is even us as women, there's like 30 women to one man. And so we have that. And when women are in a place where they're broken, in a broken state, they're in the church and still broken, that is an issue as well, that we're not trying to bring the women, young, middle-aged, older, to a place of wholeness and to a place where they are no longer broken, so that when men do come in there, the church there's not a revolving door where, you go out, you find a boyfriend and you bring them to church, and the minute things don't go right, then you go back out, and it's a cycle. That we do develop programs within the body of Christ, whether, black, white, any type of church, where the women are made whole. And when it's not there, as women, we have to step up to the plate and take responsibility for our soul and for our spirit, that we are made whole, and not wait for man. And I'll guarantee you, if you're in the wrong place, God will lead you out of there into a place that will nurture you and feed you to what you need, especially when you have children, because our children are watching us.
Very good. Very good. Miss Anita, do you have any final words? Thank you so much. And you did a video that I want people to check out. So we'll make sure that I don't know if you can type it in the chat there.
Yeah, I did a part 1 and a part 2. If you head over to betterlovemovement.com, I did a part 1 on the Cam Newton situation, and then I did a part 2. So yes, and then I talked about the latest video is about love bombing. I had another creator actually ask me, what's the difference between love bombing and a man who's genuinely interested? So I did a video about that, because yes, there is a difference. And we talked about narcissistic personality disorder. So understand this, the word narcissist or narcissistic is being thrown around, when the truth is we have all been born with some narcissistic trait. I did not talk about that. I talked about a clinical disorder called narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. So when you hear me say NPD, I'm talking about a clinical diagnosable personality disorder. Very different than the word narcissism and everybody throwing out narcissism. So
Very good.
Yep.
Miss Anita's coming on. Is it next week? Are you here next week?
Yes,
next
I
week,
think
right?
so. Yep, it's next week. Yep.
All right.
So it's a good warm up.
Yeah, it's a good warm up. So we got I got somebody else who's going to come on the following week. I'm getting so many senior moments lately, but she wrote a book, and we had an email conversation. So a couple of good stuff that's coming up. I'm making this channel, man. So I want to talk to the young men. So I've got a few videos that are coming up. I got, as I said, I got about 10 videos in the pipe. If you watch them, young ladies, please make sure you send them to your sons, nephews, etc., because I really want to talk to the men. There's been a lot of chat going on, a lot of comments in the chat section about men need to step up, men need to step up. I want to talk to the men, but they got to listen, they got to tune in. So I'm talking to them. Me driving around, not getting in accidents. I'm not as brave as Miss Anita. I can't do it live. I can't do it live. So, but I'm driving around. I'm trying to give you guys some game about how to improve yourselves. And there's like 3 or 4 of them that are really targeted towards men. Some of them are targeted towards ladies too, because I want you to help these men. It's a tough love session. That's actually the name of them. One of them is tough love. It's coming after the women because I want you to help these men. You guys are in charge. You talk about them being in charge of the church. You're in charge of education. You got to help these young boys turn into the men that you want them to be. So I'm challenging you all to do that. So please don't give me any nasty grams about that. So Miss Anita will be up here next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet. We're going to find something good to talk about. And so I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for the panel, everyone who came up. Thank you for everyone who's been in the chat. Y'all make sure you hit the like button. I see 60 people watching. I can only see 40 likes. So make sure you hit the like button. If you watch this in the future, please make sure you hit the like button and all that. So thank you so much. And if I see somebody who says they have a master's degree, listen, hit me up. We'll talk about it. Maybe able to have you come on. I definitely support men who are in the therapeutic range. We need male therapists, male psychologists. We need them because we just saw 2 experts who I don't know what they was talking about. So we need men to come up here and give a male perspective of what's going on. So with that, much love and peace. I will see you guys. There should be a video dropping tomorrow morning. Thank you again, Miss Anita. Thank you again, Miss Raquel, and everyone else. You guys have a great night. Talk to you later.
Good night.
Peace.